Okay, Dollface says, thank you, sir. Ever notice how spiteful mutants will rarely say someone is just stupid, but will usually default to calling people uneducated? They don't value intelligence, they value time spent on being told things. Indeed, and something which Noah Carl noted, I think it was today or yesterday on Twitter, is the extent to which it's always the left-wing person on Twitter. It's always the equalitarian who has a PhD who will put in their Twitter name, Dr. So-and-so, so-and-so. Rather, as you see, with Dr. Jill Biden. And it's always the person who supposedly is in favor of equality. Now, you might think that by saying that you have a PhD, what you are saying to somebody is that I am socioeconomically more successful than you, I am educationally more successful than you, I am better than you, and this is not equality. There is no equality. There is a hierarchy, and look at me, I'm at the top of the hierarchy. Look at me, look how well I've done. And so how can you talk about being in favor of equality? You're not really in favor of equality at all. And that just demonstrates it, because if you were in favor of equality, you would be very, very sensitive to those that were unequal, and you would not want to hurt their feelings or rub it in or whatever. It could be argued that to go around calling yourself Dr. Adam Rutherford or whatever on Twitter, it's rather like driving a Rolls Royce, just rubbing it in. It's stating to people, look how well I've done. I am considerably more educated than Yao. And so it's incredible hypocrisy that they go on about equality and whatever, but yet they stress their academic credentials. Why do they stress their academic credentials? Because they're not interested in truth. They're not interested, we know that, they're not interested in truth. If it was truth, it wouldn't matter who stated the argument. You know, Bill Bloggs could state the argument. Thomas Edward, the Aberdeenshire shoemaker, could state the argument. They're interested in power, and they're interested in having power. And these same people who now are the SJWs would be the church ladies in a conservative society. They want power, and they want they're narcissistic, and they want to be admired. We know that, with studies on that. They're high in narcissism, they're high in Machiavellianism, and so they therefore stress their credentials as a way of being admired and as a way of asserting their power, because that is what they're motivated by. They're not motivated by truth, and they go into academia as a means of getting admiration and as a means of attaining power. And that is why they are prepared to lie, or not lie, but they're prepared to convince themselves of the reality of results, which are not logically the reality, if it helps them to attain power to do that. They are prepared to try and shut down those that critique their own viewpoints, because, of course, if they're wrong, then this disempowers them, and that's a problem, that's dangerous. I've been reading recently about a big problem that's going on in physics, which is that increasingly physicists are taking the view that this Big Bang theory that we're all told is the case is rubbish. And this dark matter theory that we're all told is the case is rubbish as well. Indeed, you may recall that I had someone here at the Jolly Heretic a few weeks ago who was arguing that the dark matter thing was nonsense. But the problem is that it's too big to fail. It's too big to fail. So many people's careers in physics are wrapped up in dark matter and are wrapped up in the Big Bang theory. And so if those things are undermined, then their whole academic lives have been a waste of time. And so in the interests of maintaining power, those people are going to make sure that research, which indicates that there's no dark matter or the Big Bang is nonsense, is suppressed. And that's what they're doing. And that's what we saw with the treatment of this gentleman that I had on a few weeks ago. You'll see him on YouTube, on BitChute. Whatever, that's what they're doing. They've got to be stopped, because those people are part of the guild. They go into academia because they are interested in power and respect. They are not interested in the truth. If they were interested in the truth, if they were presented with an argument which was a model which was more parsimonious than the Big Bang or more parsimonious than dark matter, they would say, oh yeah, fair enough, it's more parsimonious. And they wouldn't say, oh, well, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, because that's just nonsense. If you say something is an extraordinary claim, you're biased against it from the start. There's no such thing as an extraordinary claim. There's a claim. There's a claim. It's not extraordinary. It's all claims should be treated as ordinary and should be applied reason and evidence to accordingly. There's no such thing as an extraordinary claim.